Hello everybody and welcome back to Blaster Master Zero. And we are now at the end of Area 7. Well, near the end of it, because there are problems. We have this stealth section left. Thankfully, it is the last one in the game. And we're just gonna see what we can do to crawl on through this. This is also the hardest of the stealth sections because you have to deal with both the roaming enemies and these searchlights stacked together in the same patterns. And there are just a ton of guys. I'm not worried, even though I should be. Well... So, that's what happens if you mess up a stealth section like that. You can maybe fight a couple of these guys at a time, but all at once, that's not happening. These enemies are pretty persistent. If you're on the same screen as them, they will not let up. That reminds me, I was playing the latest Terminator game, Terminator Resistance, I believe. So, in one of the missions, before you have anything that can actually hurt a Terminator, I got spotted by one and like, okay, it's a video game guard, I'll just go around a corner, hide in some room, close the door, and I'll be fine. I'll just wait for them to time out. So, I waited there, in that little supply closet there, and then there was a bam, 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 Terminator knocked down the door and ventilated me. It turns out, Terminators are actually persistent. It's kind of their defining feature. By the way, do not jump down those steps, you will hurt yourself. Well, this is a problem. Well, we're just going to have to retrieve our tank then. Okay, this is basically a tank-fought version of the plutonium boss from the original Blaster Master. However, to deal with it, you need to hop up here, climb this ladder, and then hit the switch to bring your tank down. Getting up to the first ladder is by far the hardest part of this boss fight. Okay, we're going to try to use the acceleration blast on this thing. Of course, the trouble... Oh boy. Well, I'm still going to try for the acceleration blast, but now it's gotten a whole lot harder to use. Alright, it's ready to go, and we got hit right out of it. Theoretically, I could beat this with regular shots, but I wanted to do the thing. when perhaps I should not have tried to do the thing. This is really the only opportunity I'm going to have to use this against an active boss, so I might as well take it. Also, there's an achievement for doing it, so... And down he goes. The acceleration blast will always kill him instantly. Alright, let's get in there. Let's get into that very disgusting thing. Pulsating is never a good sign when you're inside of a building. I'm kinda short on health, though. Oh, it's one of these, comparisons. Analogies. We are now in Area 8, the stronghold of the Mutant Board. And this is a very dangerous area. There are lots of spikes, it's not particularly easy to navigate, and there are plenty of enemies that are awkwardly placed. I think this is the only place in the game where I've ever suffered a tank death. Thankfully, we have plenty of tools for clearing out some of the spikes floating around here. But it still requires some tricky shots. I do not even want to think about what this area was like in the original. Okay, we took care of that. Jumped into some spikes, because those are basically everywhere. Let's see, do we have to go into this one? No? Okay. So I kind of decided, since I was this close, to just finish off Area 8 all in one go, which is why the timer is a bit longer. And it's not that much longer. Hold on, need to explode things better. Yeah, even the water areas are somewhat nastier because of how they choose to place the enemies here. Yeah, and these platformers, one of the biggest difficulty multipliers you can apply to an enemy is just placement. Where you put them in awkward spots relative to the attack reach of the player's attacks and weapons and whatever else they might have on hand to deal with obstacles. Good enemy placement is probably one of the hardest things to learn when designing platformers, as far as I can tell. Okay, 2 paths. Need to figure out which one is progress and which one I actually want to go in. This looks like progress. I need to take a look at what this area looked like in the original, because it might have been an organ area like this. I did not make it particularly far in the original game. Yeah, the top-down areas here that actually have things like power-ups, they're somewhat bigger in the final area than they have been in others. Yeah, and the comparison between older games and their remakes or even newer platformers, a lot of the times these games are easier just because people know how to design games better good. One of the really big reasons that the remakes of Final Fantasy I were so much easier than the originals, and it's actually a fairly large reason, is because all of the spells and equipment actually work the way they're intended to instead of not, like in the NES original. There's a giant laundry list of spells and weapons in the original NES Final Fantasy that do nothing of what they're actually supposed to do. This is a dangerous room. Don't want to get hit by the zappy zap. Flashbang! And that didn't really work that well. Okay, there's the map. Let's blow out our exit. So I was pretty confident that I had actually gotten everything I wanted. I didn't even need to check the map. I knew where I was. Honest. So there's only one more power-up we need to get the good ending. It's the last life up, and it should be pretty close. Though getting to it does require some careful tanksmanship. By the way, for those green blocks, it's actually possible to tell which ones have a monster inside and which ones don't. The ones where the nucleus is fully darkened are the ones that contain enemies. It's a bit of a subtle visual indicator, but it is there. Before we breach the next room, though, I need life. Yeah, one of the things that surprised me about Blaster Master is that they fully power up your main gun actually pretty early on. There are 8 areas in the game, and you have the full-powered shot by the end of Area 2? It's an unusual decision. Yeah, you need to be careful which blocks you destroy so you can grab onto a wall and start climbing over to where the entrance to the dungeon with the life up thing is. Kaboom. Yeah, the cannon does a very large amount of work. Hold on, where am I? Oh, lightning gun, still risky to use. Yeah, what kind of surprises me at times is exactly how many NES games had these kinds of goo levels. You know, body organ levels. There's this, there was Life Force. Abadox was an entire game of it? Okay, another Horde Room, and it's full of these jerks. I really wish that Abadox was a better game than it was. Because there are some NES shooters I can still play, and some that I can't. And I wish Abadox was one of the ones that I could still bring myself to play. Of course, the thing I really wish is that shmups weren't one of the genres so affected by grognard capture, but there's not much I can really do about that sort of thing now. Okay, a nice little save point right here. And looks like there are a couple of areas left. We need to go to the one on the left first. You know, further down and left instead of being an idiot. Because that has a key that we need. It's not much of a stretch to get there. It's just up the opposite side of this, up the lower part of this room than... Right. Map shows you territory, not paths. Still, this area won't be a problem for us. As long as I am not doing a dumb. Oh boy. Hopefully things will not get too much more difficult. Ah, good. So, one of the things about the chain lightning is that apparently there is a distance cap as to how and where it can affect enemies. This is normally an easy boss. But I don't do it right. The wind cannon is usually enough to take it down, but you need to be careful of how it moves and spins its little buddies, because it can and will surprise you. Thankfully, it gives up a lot of grenade drops, so you can chuck that at it. Alright, now we can finally tackle the Mutant Lord. It shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, navigating these kinds of spaces is easy so long as we can blow everything up. The fully powered Sophia 3 has a way of completely ignoring some kinds of obstacles. No problem. Yeah, I think one of the reasons that the NES was seen as a family-friendly platform, like super family-friendly, part of it was Nintendo actually cultivating that image, and part of it because we never really got things like Sweet Home and other titles like that for the original Nintendo. Oh, this is a bit of a puzzler. There we go. So, there are lots of variations on this area, and there are usually lots of mini-bosses, but somehow I avoided all of them. Something going on, Eve? Okay, the Underworld Lord. This is where Turret comes in really handy, because I've never quite figured out how to dodge that lightning whip attack of his. Each turret has enough duration for you to deliver a substantial amount of damage in each one, and it's usually enough to take him out. What's going on, Eve? What are you seeing, Eve? Oh, it has a second form now. The ultimate meta fight. Okay, a couple of things. This boss is immune to the wave shot, and I've never figured out how to avoid damage in one of its many attack types. It has 4 different attack types depending on the color it changes to. And this is the problem one that I've had trouble with. Because I've never been able to figure out how to avoid those green things as they circle around the screen. So I usually take quite a bit of weapon power damage in that phase. And that's the last of my turrets. So I'll just have to make do with the machine gun for now. Yeah, the grenade glitch can't save me anymore. Yeah, one of its attacks is used fairly rarely. There's green, blue, red, and orange. And it actually used it for me this time. Anyway, that's it, multi-dimensional overlord. Yep, the Mutant Lord is finished. Something going on up there? Yeah, let's get out of this dump. Stupid Metroid dungeon. Something up there? Okay, this is where the ending changes. Because in the bad ending, Eve just leaves and there's a little scene of her fighting something and about to self-destruct the Sophia 3. But if you fully power up the Sophia 3, you get this dialogue, which tells you that you're on the path to the good ending. So yeah, grab everything. Because if you get too far in, it's a real pain to backtrack. Hey, Fred. Um... Well, something like that. Well, here we are. So, this is new.